Feeling squeezed by rent, bills, and debt, you may wonder whether putting a little money into a 401k can really change your future. On a salary of $50,000, even a small workplace contribution can become far more powerful when your employer adds a match. The practical goal is simple. Learn exactly how the match works, capture the full amount available, and build a habit that can grow with your 10-year career. A 401k is a retirement account offered through an employer. Money usually comes from your paycheck before it reaches your checking account, and it is invested inside the plan for long-term goals. An employer match is an additional contribution your company makes when you contribute. It is not based on how wealthy you are. It is tied to the plan rules and to your own savings rate. Consider a common example. An employer matches 100% of your contributions up to 5% of your salary. On $50,000, 5% equals $2,500 per year. If you contribute that amount, the employer may add another $2,500, subject to the plan's exact terms. Your savings immediately have a second source. But what happens if your budget cannot absorb the full amount yet? Start with the plan's summary and identify 3 details. Find the percentage you must contribute to receive the full match, the definition of eligible pay, and whether the match arrives each paycheck or later. Also check whether a year-end rule applies. These details matter because contributing 5% is not useful if the plan requires a different timing or limits how the match is calculated. Payroll deductions make the process easier. Instead of moving money manually after payday, you choose a contribution percentage, and your employer sends it directly to the 401k. On a $50,000 salary, a 5% annual contribution is $2,500 before considering taxes or pay frequency. Your take-home pay will fall by less than that full amount in many traditional plans because contributions can reduce taxable income, but your payroll department can explain the exact effect. The key distinction is between qualifying for the match and saving beyond it. Your first target is usually the contribution that receives the full employer match, assuming high-priority needs are covered and the plan's fees and rules are reasonable. Additional retirement saving can come later, as your income and budget allow. That order prevents a valuable benefit from disappearing while keeping the plan realistic. What if your first paycheck cannot support 5%? You are not failing. Begin with an amount that fits, even if it is smaller, then set a calendar reminder to raise it after a pay increase, debt payoff, or recurring bill ends. A 1% contribution creates the habit. The next step is to close the gap gradually, rather than waiting for a perfect financial season. Your budget gives this decision a place to live. A 50-30-20 budget assigns about half of income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt goals, though your real numbers may differ. A zero-based budget gives every dollar a job. Either method can reveal a modest amount for the match without pretending that groceries, childcare, or housing costs are identical for every household. High-interest debt deserves careful attention too. APR, or annual percentage rate, is the yearly cost of borrowing, including interest and certain fees. If a credit card APR is high, paying it down can be an important priority. Still, many people compare the debt's cost with the employer match and keep contributing enough to qualify, if possible. A financial professional can help you weigh the trade-off for your situation. An emergency fund protects the plan from everyday surprises. It is cash reserved for urgent expenses, such as a necessary repair, medical bill, or temporary loss of income. Without one, a setback may force you to borrow or withdraw retirement money. You might begin with a small starter reserve, then build towards several months of essential expenses as your cash flow becomes steadier. Now picture the first year of a career. You enroll, choose a 5% contribution, and watch the deduction appear on every paycheck. The amount may feel invisible in 1 week and meaningful over a year. If the employer adds an equal 5% under the example plan, $5,000 enters the account before any investment growth. That is the first wealth-building milestone, not a final destination. Compound interest means potential growth earns additional potential growth over time. Your contributions may be invested, and any gains that remain invested can participate in future gains. Results are never guaranteed, and investments rise and fall. The important advantage is time. A contribution made in your 20s or 30s may have more years to grow than the same contribution made shortly before retirement. That is why waiting 10 years can create a difficult gap. During those years, you would not only miss your own deposits, you could also miss employer contributions and the future growth those dollars might have generated. No one can predict the final balance, and salary changes will affect the math. The principle remains dependable. Money invested earlier has more time to participate in long-term growth. Vesting adds another rule to understand. Vesting determines how much of the employer's contributions you keep if you leave the company. Your own contributions are generally yours, while matching contributions may become yours immediately or gradually under a schedule. Read the plan document instead of guessing. A match can be valuable, but its portable value depends on completing the applicable vesting requirements. Imagine changing jobs after 3 years. Your account may contain your contributions, the investment results, and some or all of the employer match, depending on the vesting rules. Leaving is not automatically a mistake, and staying only for a benefit may not fit your broader career needs. Before making a decision, review what is vested, what happens to the account, and which choices the new plan permits. You may be able to leave the money in the former employer's plan, move it into a new employer's plan, or consider another eligible retirement account. Each choice has tax and administrative consequences, so compare the rules and seek qualified tax guidance when needed. Avoid treating the account like ordinary spending money. A rollover decision should protect your long-term purpose, not simply make paperwork disappear. At home, the match becomes a household conversation. You and a partner might coordinate emergency savings, debt payments, childcare costs, and retirement contributions without competing over whose goal matters more. If you are supporting family members, the plan may need to start smaller. Progress still counts. A shared monthly check-in can turn retirement saving from a vague worry into one manageable line in the household plan. Credit Health can support that plan. A FICO score is a credit score calculated from information in your credit reports, including payment history, balances, and other factors. Paying bills on time and keeping borrowing manageable can improve financial flexibility over time, although no score guarantees approval or a particular rate. Stronger cash flow means fewer emergencies have to interrupt consistent workplace contributions. Small raises create useful decision points. If your pay increases, consider directing part of the increase toward your 401k before lifestyle costs absorb it. Raising your contribution by 1 percentage point may feel less painful than trying to make a large change all at once. Recheck the employer's match limit each time. The target is not deprivation. It is allowing your future self to share in progress today. What if the plan offers a match, but its investment menu feels confusing? Start with the educational materials and look for diversified, low-cost index funds or other broad options available within the plan. An index fund is a fund designed to track a broad market index rather than select individual companies. Review fees, risk level, and time horizon. Generic education is useful, but personal advice may require a qualified professional. Do not let a temporary market decline rewrite a long-term plan in a moment of fear. Investments can lose value, and your account balance will not rise in a straight line. Your contribution rate and employer match are separate from daily market movement. Regular contributions can buy more shares when prices are lower and fewer when prices are higher, but this does not remove risk or guarantee a profit. 10 years into the career, the most important result may not be a precise balance. It may be the system, contributions arriving automatically, match rules understood, fees reviewed, emergency savings growing, and increases scheduled when income changes. The habit has become part of your financial identity. You are no longer asking whether a small amount matters. You are managing a repeatable process. The numbers can still be grounding. If a $50,000 salary stayed unchanged and you contributed 5% for 10 years, your own deposits would total $25,000 before investment results. Under an example dollar-for-dollar match up to 5%, the employer's contributions would also total $25,000 before investment results and vesting adjustments. Actual outcomes will differ with pay, timing, limits, taxes, fees, and market performance. That illustration is not a promise. It is a way to see the cost of missing the match. If you contribute nothing, the employer cannot add the matching amount tied to your contribution. If you contribute half of the required percentage, you may receive only part of the available match. The amount forgone in one pay period may seem small, but repeated gaps can become significant. You can make the next action concrete. Log into your benefits account, locate the match formula, confirm the vesting schedule, and check your current contribution percentage. Then compare the result with your budget, debt APR, and emergency fund. If you are below the full match level, choose a sustainable increase or schedule one for a known date. Put that decision in writing so it does not depend on memory. For major life events, keep separate savings goals alongside retirement. A home purchase, education expense, wedding, or family transition may require money on a shorter timeline. Retirement funds are not a universal solution for every need. A clear account for near-term goals can reduce the temptation to interrupt long-term contributions. When each dollar has a purpose, your financial plan can handle more than one season at a time. The workplace match also reveals something broader about normal income wealth building. You do not need a dramatic breakthrough to create momentum. A salary of $50,000 can support meaningful progress when automatic contributions, employer money, time, and disciplined decisions work together. Financial experts commonly emphasize consistency because systems survive busy months better than motivation alone. There may be setbacks. A layoff, family emergency, or expensive repair can force you to pause or reduce contributions. Respond without shame. Protect essential needs, communicate with your plan administrator, and restart when your footing improves. A pause is an event, not an identity. When income returns or a bill ends, restoring the contribution can reconnect you with the strategy already in place. Your 10-year career does not have to be perfect to be powerful. The first contribution may be modest. The first emergency reserve may be incomplete. The first budget may need several revisions. What matters is learning the rules early enough to use them. Contribute enough for the available match, understand vesting, review the account during job changes, and increase savings as your capacity grows. A 401k match will not solve every financial challenge, and it cannot guarantee wealth, but it can make each eligible dollar work harder by adding an employer contribution and giving both deposits time to grow. On a $50,000 salary, that opportunity is real, practical, and worth checking today. Read the plan details, choose the next affordable step, and let steady progress build the future your paycheck alone may not create.